Say they're angry and that their integrity is being questioned. But in her first interview about the revelations, she's told us that the truth has to be known. Our Gloucestershire reporter Steve Nibbs has this exclusive report.
Edward Snowden, the whistleblower from the States, his revelations sending shockwaves through GCHQ. 10 years ago, Katharine Gun was the whistleblower from within, a translator at GCHQ who leaked details of an alleged plot to bug UN delegates before the Iraq War. A case against her under the Official Secrets Act was eventually dropped. Today, she's watching Snowden's claims with interest that GCHQ is accessing American intelligence data gathered from social networks, and that the agency has the capacity to tap fibre optic cables and monitor up to 600 million communications every day.
I'm not particularly surprised by what has been disclosed by him, but then I did work for GCHQ. However, I think there's a vast number of people who aren't all that surprised by what's going on. But I think there needs to be an open public discussion about what happens, and I definitely think there needs to be proper oversight of these organisations. We've become very jaded if we think that this is the sort of thing that our governments are doing to us. You know, they can't just think, well, because we simply can intercept it all, we should intercept it all.
As for Edward Snowden, he's still on the run, apparently headed for Ecuador where he's seeking asylum. It appears to be a carefully planned operation to tell his story, and one that Katharine Gun supports.
I hope he's not, as some commentators have speculated, ever rendered and grabbed off the streets wherever he is. But by no means do I think he's thrown his life away. He's taken a very brave step, and I wish him the best.
Snowden's claims have prompted huge public debate about the way GCHQ operates. But is that healthy? Well, one security expert I spoke to said the revelations are hardly earth-shattering.
I think the way they're operating is exactly what you'd expect from an intelligence service. And if they weren't operating in that way, I think people would have a problem with that.
But those closer to government urge more caution, saying discussions about security should be behind closed doors.
If you expose things which intelligence services would rather kept secret, it will damage their work, inevitably. So I'm afraid it is a danger to the national security of both the United States and of this country.
This will be an uncomfortable time for GCHQ. By its very nature, it would prefer that elements of its modus operandi are kept, well, secret. All the agency is prepared to say so far is that it operates under a strict legal framework, and it ensures that all its activities are necessary, authorised and proportionate. Steve Nibbs, BBC Points West, Cheltenham.
Well, while the controversy has raged on, we've heard nothing from the staff within GCHQ. So earlier I spoke to Julia McGregor, who's chair of the Government Communications Group, which represents staff there. I began by asking her how they were feeling.
At the moment, actually, staff are very hurt and they're very angry. The newspaper have presented allegations impugning their integrity, and I know GCHQ staff act with utmost integrity and in line with the law and the spirit of the law, and the allegations are just very, very hurtful for people.
They are revelations, they are allegations, but are you surprised, though, that people's response to the whole incident?
Do you mean the public's response or GCHQ staff response?
The public's response in all of this and the way the staff are feeling about it.
I suppose I'm not surprised in that the newspapers aren't publishing the whole story. They can't. The whole story is secret, and it's kept secret for very good reasons. So the general public are only hearing a partial story. And that's part of the frustration that GCHQ staff have, because they haven't got a right to reply, and they can't. They need to carry on protecting the nation's security.
Your union represents well over 50% of the staff at GCHQ. I mean, what do you think needs to be done to protect them now, or to help them, or to make them feel better, as you say?
Well, frankly, I think the first thing that could be done is The Guardian stop publishing information which puts the nation's security in jeopardy. That would be a huge help. And then I think we need to carry on seeing the support we've had from both Ian Lobban and William Hague and other politicians who understand what GCHQ does. More support from them is always going to be welcome.
What about staff who work in Cheltenham? Let's say they live next door to people and people say, oh, you work in GCHQ, you must be spying on me. That must be horrible for the staff themselves. I mean, what do you think about that?
It absolutely is horrible, and again, as I said, people don't have that right to reply. So we know that we can tell people we act lawfully because we do, and we can't go any further than that. And yes, it is frustrating, and people are frustrated, but they're not going to put the nation's security in jeopardy by saying more than they should.
Julie McGregor, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And BBC Radio Gloucestershire are running a longer interview with Katharine Gun tomorrow on their breakfast show from 6 o'clock in the morning.
6 years ago, Gloucestershire was devastated by